He doesn't need his name up in lights. He just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat or the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know him. But you know what? Blank him. That one almost got carried away. Either way, yes, that one didn't quite go as planned. Chad actually suggested that one. I told him it wasn't going to work.
He didn't suggest that.
But, yeah, nonetheless, we're here at the European Minor, brought to you in part by FACEIT, which is all culminating to two major berths. And honestly, this is exciting stuff. And if you're not involved in the social media, well, I don't really know what rock you live under, but perhaps while you're on that social media, you should use hashtag FACEITMinor. Get involved, get animate, get activated, and get ready for some more great Counter-Strike. We do have a best of 3 coming up now. And, well, while you're waiting for that to start and while you're in the other tab, perhaps at the FACEIT website, buying premium using Minors20 as the code, then that way you can also have FACEIT Premium. So after you're watching this match and you're inspired to play, perfect.
But why would I use the code -20?
To get 20% off, Chad.
20% off? That's a bargain.
It is.
All right, I might head over there in the next ad break. But you know,
there's one more. Right,
there's one more thing we like to talk about here at the analyst desk.
Is it the giveaway? That's exactly what it is. FACEITMajor.com/giveaway. And make sure you head over there because we're giving away all sorts of goodies. No Fiats, I'm sorry, maybe next year. But this time it will be about 2 million big FACEIT points. You can't really use those at the store. You can't really redeem them at your local Best Buy. But you can perhaps buy a Dragon Lord or 2 with that amount of money.
Best Buy might be exclusive only to North America.
And that happens to be where I'm from.
Can I set the scene for what we're about to go down?
Would you like to?
Okay. Yeah, I would like to.
Okay.
All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've made it through the day. We are in the lower bracket match, the elimination game right here, right now, between the likes of Kinguin and Red Reserve, both of which played best of ones earlier in the day, and it didn't go their way by any means, but fighting to stay in the tournament, fighting for their lives, fighting for a major spot. It's all going to be going down right here, right now, and I'm bloody excited.
Are you excited, Chad?
I thought I gave that with the tone of my voice.
Okay, I didn't know there were a lot of poggers happening and stuff like that. So perhaps, Maniac, how are you feeling going into this one? We saw both of these teams earlier today. How do you think that this entire matchup could transpire?
I feel very excited, very interested. I think both teams, with the map pools that they have, we should see exotic maps coming to play. I think the likes of Train, Overpass are a possibility. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see custom maps. Put it this way.
Okay.
Okay. Well, how about this? We're going to start talking about Kinguin. Earlier, we saw Taz and the boys not necessarily have the showing that they probably would have hoped for in their opening match, but now they're going to have a shot at redemption.
Do you want me to do a bit more like fake hype?
Yes.
Or real hype?
Or a little bit of mixer in between.
Okay, I can bring it together. Taz, of legend Polish status, Virtus Pro member for years, throughout Counter-Strike 1.6 history and that of CSGO, has been a name that has been touted, that has been looked towards as such an influential figure, has been removed from the roster, and now he's found himself in Kinguin, a lower-ranked Polish team, but in the moment, in the current climate, the Polish scene is in dismay, and he has a chance to bring these youngsters together, the likes of Rallen, the likes of Mouse, and put them instead in the right position to grab a major spot and to continue their run in this tournament. And the glory of majors and what it brings.
That was pretty good, Chad.
Thanks, man.
You got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to say, like we pointed out, Kinguin's first game wasn't as bad as the score would actually suggest.
It's much closer,
Obviously, 9-16 looks like a little bit of a bash, but it wasn't the case. I felt like Kinguin had a very good mid-round calling, but it came down really to the clutches. So hopefully going to this game, they have fixed what they needed to fix. I don't know if it was communication-wise, I don't know if it was pressure, but we're talking about what Taz can bring to a team. Well, I hope he brought improvement.
Yeah, definitely. He knows the little details which they need to tighten up if they want to be a solid unit going forward. And just to reiterate that point, they shouldn't be disheartened with how the first matchup went. It was much closer than the scoreline showed, and they should be keen and ready and raring to go. And you can see on the, I guess, the back left-hand side, there is Lord of previous VP or, I guess, 1.6 fame with the likes of Pentagram and Taz in the days.
Let's try something new. We see this huddle, and let's just kind of do it moment by moment. What do you think is being said in that huddle right now? Try to imitate what's going on.
All right, boys. I know that first game didn't go away, but I want to get rid of that. I want to clear your mind. Right here, right now, we're going to have Red Reserve. There's some Tier 3 Swedish crumbs who we're going to absolutely stomp right now. We bring it together. We practice for this moment. We've sat here hours upon hours of Counter-Strike. We live and breathe this bloody game, and we're going to take it to these Swedes right here and continue our run in the tournament, in the glory, thriving for a major spot and validation as the top Polish Counter-Strike team. Do it for me, boys. My name's Taz.
Oh, I was really hoping they would just come together right there in that moment. It was perfect timing. But nonetheless, Maniac, if you were in this huddle, perhaps more realistically, what would you say if you were looking backwards and saying, okay, well, this is how the first match went. What should we critique? What should we work on going into this one?
Well, I think first of all, it's important to not get blocked by what's at stake. You know that. Oi, that was a scream. When you play a match with such high importance, sometimes you can get caught in the moment and you don't really play your game because of how important that is. And I think that's the role of the most experienced players, to kind of tone it down a little bit. And players need to realize they just need to play their game. They need to play Counter-Strike. This is what they're here for. Maybe don't think too much about the major. Don't think about what's at stakes, because I think it can be like a double-edged sword. And when it comes to the mistakes that were done in the first game, I think they have discussed that already. This is not usually something you mention in a pre-game. You know, you have post-game debriefing. You talk whatever you need to talk about.
Decompression.
But here it's you're looking forward. You maybe mention the few key things you need to have in your game. I know that could be communication, boys. How you play the power play, all of these teeny adjustments, but you don't really think about what you did wrong in the first games.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no way to or no real reason to harp on that, I should say, because ultimately it will come back and it will probably bite you where the sun does not shine. Now, we're going to start talking about the Red Reserve, a team that, well, ultimately also has a plate full here to try to work their way to getting a spot here at this major.
I feel contrasting storylines in the sense of if I was the likes of Red Reserve, I'd be frustrated that I didn't close that game because it felt like they had such a good lead, felt like they were in control of that game, and then just based off a clutch of Dennis, it all fell apart. And a round that they should never really lose is what really, if you go back and you look at the demo, was the trigger point for these guys to fall apart and capitulate. Now, I was impressed by a lot of the individuals within the server in that game. I think Hampus was doing a great job on the entry fragging. Obviously, Twist on the AWP was very influential. But coming into this matchup right now, for them, it's just about making sure they continue the form, because it wasn't that they showed bad form by any means. It's just they lost one silly round that led to a bit of a snowball factor. I think mental game is probably going to be a bigger issue for a team like Red Reserve, who doesn't have a figurehead leader like that of Kinguin. So they need to make sure that they get off to a good lead and are able to maintain it if they want to take this series.
Right, and this Red Reserve roster, obviously, have Godson before, but they have had at least a year or two of trying to, bring it full circle to where they want to be. So rather them, working under someone else's system, hey, these guys are bringing it up themselves. Obviously, the roster has fluctuated from time to time.
Definitely changed a bit, yeah.
But the sentiment is there that these guys are doing it on their own.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest issue for this roster that previously was Godson has always been inconsistency, in my opinion, and the fact that they would be able to bring down any team and then lose to a lesser-known team, for example. So they really needed that baseline, that kind of security and safety net, you would call it that way, that they don't really lose against a lesser team. They've had time to prepare for this event. That's the one good thing, they've had a lot of time to prepare, and they've shown great things against NIP Reed. They've been aggressive. They've taken the games into their own hands. Obviously, they should feel frustrated it didn't go their way, but some really good and promising signs, I would say, going into this best of three.
Well, yes, and that is exactly right. This is a best of three, and I guess when we take a look at that, I mean, that does change the dynamic quite a bit. I mean, this has been best of ones for these guys up to this point, and now even if they do falter, if they do fail and fall in the first map, they'll be able to bring it back potentially in the second and then even it out with the third.
Yeah, I think when we look at this veto, Kinguin have a deeper map pool. I think they probably also have a better practice regime. If I just look at this roster of Red Reserve and the way that they approach Counter-Strike, it's more about doing the basics, right? It's not really about building too deep of a map pool or anything along those lines. And I think that there's a bigger opportunity for Kinguin to punish in the veto by picking maps that are weak for Red Reserve. They don't necessarily need to lean to things that they feel super strong on. I think that they have a chance to do a targeted veto in that regard.
Well, even at that, right? I mean, it's kind of one of these things where these teams are backs against the wall right here. You don't want to go out right here. You don't want to slip up and say, okay, we can make this pick and then ultimately falter on it. So I think coming down to the veto is going to be pretty important.
It is, absolutely. It's very important. Also, it's a game that is really hard mentally because basically you can almost only lose. You don't win anything per se in this game. You just survive. That's what's happened. Either you go home or you survive. You don't really, you can't really be excited that, okay, we got the playoff spot. That's not the case. You're just here to survive.
For one of these two teams, if they want to get that playoff spot, they still have to play NIP, which means we could be seeing potentially 6 maps from one of these two squads to get all the way through, and it's already 6:30.
Don't ever say it again, Chad.
Say
what
All right,
again? We've got the map vetoes coming in. That means 3 of which could be picked here to be played, and we might even just be seeing it done in 2 from either Kinguin or Red Reserve. The first band coming out on the side of Kinguin is going to be Nuke, and then you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and slate it in there. It's going to be that. It's going to be
That's surprising.
That's
really surprising.
That is really surprising to me.
This is where I think a punish pick will come in from Kinguin, something that Red Reserve aren't very good on, like maybe like a Cache or something along those lines. Something that because we saw there they had a 0% win rating on that map, right? It wasn't something which they're obviously too adept on.
Pause. Everything that you're thinking, reverse it. Reverse your brains.
Oh, it's the wrong way around. I was going to say, it wouldn't make sense for Red Reserve to... Okay, so...
Just sometimes these things happen.
Yeah, I still feel like... Well, that graphic did say that Red Reserve had a 0% win rate on Cache, right? Like, if I read it correctly when it came, maybe that was wrong too. I don't know. Well, Cache is going to be the first map.
It's going to be Cache, Train,
so that's
Inferno.
Red Reserve's pick.
Just calling it. That's not Inferno, but it could be Cache, Train, and...
What are you basing Train off of?
Just random luck of the draw here.
Okay. Well, Overpass was a close affair for Red Reserve, right? So... I don't know if Kinguin would want to pick into that.
I can tell you this: this Red Reserve roster playing against Godsend, but at the stage, I mean, Kinguin playing against Godsend, and they played Train and Overpass when they played. That was in Starter qualifier, so 2 different maps there.
I thought that, you know, the way that Kinguin would steer this veto would be something where they would have more tactical diversity, but these 2 maps are very brawly. You had Mirage in that, and you have the 3 most scrimmy, or the 3 most potential scrimmy maps in the whole pool. And when you look at the situations that Kinguin were finding themselves in after their opening moves on Nuke, it was post-plant 3v3s that, you know, we were saying could go either way. They're 50-50 scenarios. So maybe they know that they have the strategy. They just need to this is the 3 most scrimmy maps you can get. So this is interesting. I think this, on paper, leans towards a team like Red Reserve, who have very, I guess, star-powered individuals who can step up.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think coming into this best of 3, I was hoping for Kinguin's deeper map pool to kind of show off in the veto. I think they had the possibility to push Red Reserve into a map that they are not really comfortable on. I don't feel like that's the case. And even though I would give Kinguin let's say a tactical edge over Red Reserve, maybe in the principles of Counter-Strike, individually speaking, I see Red Reserve a little stronger, at least based off what we have seen so far in this tournament. So I think Red Reserve has to be pretty happy about the veto and how it went down.
Well, this is an elimination match, and I want to have to ask you guys where you stand on this one. Very briefly, Maniac, let's start with you. What is your prediction for this best of 3? Because
of the veto, because I think Kinguin needed to tactically punch Red Reserve in the face, I don't think that's going to happen now, so I'm going to give it to Red Reserve.
Okay.
I believe in Taz. I think he's still got a bit of fight left in him, and I think this is the chance for him to continue his team's journey, keep his history alive, and take down a Red Reserve who I think will mentally fall apart in a best of 3.
Well, I think one journey that has been exponentially a cut above all others in both description and in, well, vulgarity would be our commentary duo. That is Sadakis and Henry Gruer. Take it away, guys.
He's never, ever going to get new content, is he?
He's not. He tries his best. Swing and a miss, but it was a good try.
Gotta swing, I guess. You might as well take a swing.
Well,
you might as well.
Someone's going to miss this game as the first elimination of the day of Group B.
Chad doesn't really like Swedish teams in general.
No, he doesn't want them to get past this. He's believing in Taz. I kind of agree where Maniac is sitting. I feel like they are a more powerful squad in terms of firepower, Red Reserve. I feel like the maps really suit that playstyle. We've got Cash, then Dust 2, then Mirage, as Chad mentioned, 2 of the scrimmiest maps you can possibly have. So we'll see whether this works out for them. Will be Red Reserve standing on the T side here, of course, as we get rocking and rolling here. Will be Zinio to open things up. He doesn't connect much, but he does get a bit of damage off, at least. 5 players towards B for the Red Reserve squad as they smoke towards Spawn. Molotov towards Checkers.
Correct.
Alice will get 1, but it's going to be Freddie B answering back straight away, and the plan will come in by Twist.
Does get 1. I thought it was Roland firing through the smoke. It was not. Hampus sits back, catches out Maniz. That gives them control of the B tunnels and therefore can watch over the bomb more effectively. Meanwhile, Taz just getting boosted to try and see toward the default more clearly. Twist, man of many talents. Okay, look, he's got one that I know of. It's Counter-Strike. But he's got a lot of it. He's going to try and shut out the site. Freddie B will help in doing so by taking down Aritz, and it is 1-0 for RR.
There we go. A set plan from the very beginning. Red Reserve send 5 players towards B. They all challenge the very start. They take a bit of damage there. But Smoking City Spawn, Molotoving the back box at Checkers, making their way through and trading out frags effectively. They managed to plant the bomb. They managed to win out with 3 players surviving. So it has to be the force by now from Kinguin. We'll see CZs and Deagles. Got a couple of smokes. They've deployed one of those already. I assume that's towards middle, and indeed it is. And the boost comes in. Normally want one of your rifle players up here, of course, try and get that first pick. Confirms there's no CTs at least at close range. There is one, however, in the vent. As that gets shot out, Hampus is hoping the sound cue will bait Mouse around the corner. Still plenty of time. Got that basic mid control. Need to do a little bit more here. So the Molotov goes in towards sandbags. I mean, Hampus will drop down here. Still is vulnerable to that vent. They might want to Molotov that as well, just to confirm no one's in there.
Bounce. Didn't bother Molotoving it. Pops out, gets one kill. Maniz goes down to Freddy in return, but there was further damage done from that Deagle Henry. Smalling gets back inside of the A side. Trying to do damage to Hempus. Watch out. Oh, okay, there's not. I thought Mouse might swing back out with that Deagle from Z Connector. I'm trying to deal with that AK. That AK now is A-OK as it pushes all the way through, and Steve Aoki will play a tune as Reitz goes down. All right, our producers didn't have any Steve Aoki on cue, but it was worth a try. Taz in a 1 versus 4.
Is there anything he can do here? Doesn't look like it. Bomb will be going off the A side of the map. They get 1 kill. That was the opener from the vent. Well recovered, though, by Red Reserve. They actually looked pretty decent against NIP. I think they were unfortunate to lose that one. Remember, they had the 8-1 lead, and it all fell apart for them on overpass. Winner of this game will not be through to the playoff. They'll be through to the winner's game, I guess if you want to call it that. And we'll play NIP there to see who's the second team to join Sprout in the Group B. There'll be 2 teams to make it to the playoffs. Sprout already there. One of these teams will be eliminated from the tournament with this best of 3. Good start from Red Reserve. They're going to find presumably a 3-0 here. Should be the full eco. Not really much expected. Mouse will go for the Desert Eagle at least. Anyone spending any sort of cash here at all. And this looks like just a little B split to calmly win the round. They'll focus towards middle. Try and challenge a B. Shouldn't be too problematic for them. Molotov in the usual position. Just making sure there's no surprises around the corner. It's Whistle going first. It's going to smoke CT spawn first. I think they might have doubled up the smokes. A bit of a communication issue. As now, kills starting to come for the CTs, but it should be well held still. A couple of frags. It was a B stack. Sometimes can be a little bit of a nuisance going towards B without a default there, but against default pistols doesn't really matter. One more kill for Rallen. This might have a few more Whistle turns. He's got the P2000. Takes a nade. Down to 80 points of health. They need to recover the bomb, which they will do effectively. And the plant should come in at this point.
Rollin smoke down will do everything in his power. Given that the bomb wasn't yet planted, he would have sniffed a chance at it. That's obviously been addressed, taking chances and pushing them further away. Brolan cuts off Rollin when he arrives, 3-0. Now we get to the guns, though, and the question that everybody at home is wondering is answered. There is no AWP. They could not afford it.
Definitely couldn't.
Maniz was $100 short.
Problem with the second round force spike is a best of 3. They want to take a gamble, it's fine. Brolan's going for one of these really out there smokes. I suggested doing a set piece off the bat. Maybe he's going to be dropping something like that. Goes towards highway. They use the smoke to extinguish the flames at the start. To fast mid approach. They know the orb's unlikely considering the force spike came in. Going for the A split quickly here. That's the smoke at the top you're looking at right now. Brolan deployed that himself. Makes his way through. CT's isolated on the side. They bounce on each other and lose 2 kills. It's nice work by Kinguin.
Good play from Maniz as well. Just that one, but dropped immediately by Twist. He gets off from aim. Watch for Freddy. He's on the flank, and Taz has nowhere to go, but to turn, react, and get the communication in. He has managed to do that well enough for Freddy to respond, but it's still traded back and forth as Twist finds himself in a 1 versus 2 bomb to be planted open, but not super wide. So it's up against the metal cylinders. I still don't know what those are. Some sort of nuclear storage device. Not nuclear, but high security storage device for shipment. Maybe rockets. Maybe. Twist, as they get approaching from either side, has nowhere really to go. Tried to play off the bomb and get information. They didn't give him much, and when Reitz does peek, he makes no mistake on it, so we go 3-1.
But still, plenty of cash here for Red Reserve, with the bomb going down especially. Not so much for the CTs, losing 3 players. They win the round, but still going to be very fragile. Still can't afford the AWP. They do recover 2 AKs at least. You can see Hampus with $8,000. He'll drop 1 AK to the teammate. That's going to be Brolan. Disco Doppelin Will also be on the AK here. Big round coming in. Red Reserve can win this. It could spiral Kinguin into double eco territory. You can see they've got a couple of FAMASs, one M4 and Ralin, and they've saved AKs. Twist this time. But have a nice smoke. Looks like another set piece towards A. 3 players towards the door right now. Could be going for something very quick here. As smokes go on the left and right hand side of the bomb site. Can they find the first kill? They're not going to check MBK.
Oh my god, how do you not check that? No utility, no one even considers it. They both walk in, following each other blindly almost, not literally with flashes, but without much foresight. It was easy. It was a FAMAS. 2 headshots. Twist trying to make up for it. Gets one, but wants to flash through, not anticipating Taz to be so close, and he'll continue to swing in the sight and find Hampus.
They must have run that strategy dozens and dozens of times. It's a very direct and specific set piece, and you've got no utility being used towards MBK. You flashed him originally, but then no one checks that position at all. There was no aggro towards the sites or towards quad. They just didn't want to check in. That's a little bit disappointing. It is one of those scrappier tournaments where these lesser teams will show mistakes, and just little key nuances like that as one position not checked completely ruins the round for them. But well played to Kinguin. That's a big round for them to win. It's forced Red Reserve to win eco now. Huge nade at the start, takes Hampus down to 9 HP, now 0. Converts that. Smoke goes down to buy him a bit more time and space. Disco Doplin, lovely shot. And he's certainly didn't have to push that. No real rhyme or reason behind it. Ralin. MP9, even at this range against fragile heads, can still cause considerable damage.
Solling off toward the white box yet again. Try and cover out mid. We'll go ahead and incendiary out toward Checker as well as they try and run through. Doesn't manage to get any kills, bit of damage to slow them on the pistols. They've got an MP7 and Disco's hand picked up, carried over, but it's Reitz that's going to shut him down as he tries to take the fight with it. Brolin's got the best chance, having picked up an AK. Bomb down before the flames will reach his feet. He goes onto the box. Great positioning from Brolin. Brolin, though, has had enough of that, and the round will go in favor. Now 3 in a row to Kinguin to tie the game.
3 in a row for sure. Bomb planted. Maybe more than they are worth considering the buy. They get 3 kills. A plant down. Keeps Kinguin relatively modest here. Remember, it's a best of 3 elimination game. Taz has been in Kinguin for a while. Maybe some of you weren't aware. It's been under the radar somewhat. It's not like he's found massive success with this squad. It's been in there about 6 months now. Haven't won anything notable. They've qualified for a few things. We'll see whether they can get a little bit deeper here on the CT side. Red Reserve. AKs again. Haven't brought out the AWP at Twist. They are considering it though. You can see. Well, you can't. I can. He's got $4,900. Goes for the AK instead. As we get into the 7th round here. AWP might be available on the CT side, and we'll see. It's a good time to bring it out. It's a double AWP setup. Why not? Here we go. Miles and Moniz. Here the bomb side patrols. AWP's ready. Smoke deployed. And Miles will be flashed first. So, with actually the smoke. He's got a bit of trouble coming towards him.
Miles waiting, holding. Still with the AK. Inside of the checker room. Vision back as he restores inside of the site. AWP still trying to desperately get vision, and no one moving on Red Reserve. They're going to hold station. Mouse has had enough of playing that game. A little game of cat and mouse, Henry.
Oh, it'll be up to him to hit these shots now. Maniz will open things up. Mouse does get 2. Didn't look like he did. Now Reitz on the sights. Knows his players in front of him. That's the bomb down. That should be round. Twist will fight back 2 for Nail, but he only finds 1. There we go. Kinguin now, after being 3-0 down, find 4 rounds in a row, as you can see at the top of your screen there. And we'll see whether this double AWP setup will be enough to negate the CZ potential. The problem is now, Red Reserve are aware there's a double orb setup, so for now they're going to make sure they purchase the smokes, and they'll probably go for some sort of set piece. It looks like a B execution, the Molotovs, and obvious positioning at the very start. They'll be throwing those Molotovs all over the bomb site, smoking towards CT. Molotov and checkers at the start. That's the Molotov. So yeah, he doesn't want to smoke that. That is blocks vision for him, really. Now, could be problematic, but the MP9 is there, and it's doing great work so far. Should be able to get the double kill there, Reeds with no problem whatsoever. This is well held. I would have preferred an A site execution, considering it's a much more open map, or bomb site, I should say, and you could really remove the AWP potential there, but it's Reeds going to town, farming all the money. 5 in a row now for the Poles. See Red Reserve with the AWP in the hands of Twist, I think for the first time, as we enter round number 9 here. Got Cash, Dust 2, and Mirage. Very scrappy maps. Lots of firepower required. Looser in terms of setup. And so far, so good for Kinguin since the gun rounds have begun. Manise with a gap over that smoke. You can see a player on top of the lockers just blocking his vision somewhat. It's going to be Twist.
Good angle. Top of the lockers to try and see through the smoke. No one available to him, and just as he gets to the cross point, Manise had gone unsighted and slipping behind Quad once more. Bit of an exchange between the two. No one gets any damage done to them. Just a couple warning shots, Hank.
Seems that way. Twist will open things up though. He takes down Rallen. Great way to find him the advantage here. Red Reserve lost 5 in a row. Maximum loss bonus. Need to convert this. Bomb's going to be down outside A as Brodan waits for the smoke to dissipate there. Firing off some speculative shots, and Freddy be aware of the reaction play coming through. Reeds though, caught off guard as he comes through the smoke. 5 versus 3. It's up to Mouse now to get out the pistol. He knows there'll be players nearby. Twist rotates through. Good incendiary. That might even get him a kill. Not quite unlucky with that one, but hits the shot regardless.
Disco, good shot back. Bit of a party on the B site. Disco gets in to try and plant the bomb at default. And they'll be celebrating because they've got it, and it's a back off for Kinguin. First time Red Reserve has won a gun round, yes, absolutely, but first time since the gun rounds, as they obviously went up 3-0. Kinguin's had all the answers thus far. Remember, best of 3 as we're getting into that portion of the day. Loser of this is gone.
Will be the first team to bow out of this group. So far, looks like Manise and Taz will be saving the AWP and AK-47 respectively. See
Game sense.
Team. What was that?
That's Dan. He's just talking about how much game sense they had.
Game sense.
That's a bit rude, James. All right, listen. I try, okay? Just because I'm like silver 1.
He does his best, all right? That's all we can ask for. Look at the spawn for Manise, by the way. That doesn't get much better.
Yeah, certainly not on this map.
So he can go for the door, the A main push. He's going to go towards middle. Suggest he'll just hold the connector here. What's he up to? Goes towards the white box, hoping that a rival terrorist there will maybe challenge at the very start. Necessary damage there taken by Disco. That actually is a big deal. Makes him very vulnerable to the one taps of the M4 now. So around 80 damage. So mid control granted at least. Red Reserve have pushed the CTs back, but that's fine. It's always better just to give it up than allow a frag to go against you. Brolan knows they'll be aware of this as the orb now holds towards quad. This is a very common setup as soon as you lose middle. Rotate a player in, but they've let players sneak out of A as well. It's all getting a little bit too much here. Hampus will open up the A site. Surely Taz has got nothing to say about this one. Not going to find 2, surely. Rallen will keep them in the round at least. 3 versus 3. The bomb should be planted now.
Quite hit the shot. Mouse goes back for more, and rightfully so with the M4. That brings it actually to a man advantage as they want to take back the site, and now do so against Disco Dolphin. Couldn't quite land that one, could he? Disco actually gets a chance to get both. Knows where they both are at the very least. And as a result of that, It's Twist that has the information and can play it perfectly. Peeks out, no mistake, knew they were both coming from truck, and it's 5-5.
Absolutely wonderful stuff from him. A classic Twist play. 2 versus 1, holding the quad, a little wall bang to finish things off as well. The first shot was decent, but the second one is where it all came together. Right through the edge of quad. Takes down Reitz, and back and forth we go. 2 rounds in a row for Red Reserve. We tie things up at 5-5. Still money there for Kinguin. This was the pick the CT was aware of before, but this time focuses his efforts towards the boost spot. It certainly pays off. Opening pick, and that's just what they needed. Look at the cash situation. They've got a CZ out, a FAMAS, 1 smoke at the 1:30 mark. This is an absolute nightmare of a buy. No kits, of course. So the opening pick was absolutely everything there. That might fend them off from middle. They can focus on other sides of the map. Bang is actually very successful there for Disco Doppler. Takes Roland down to 3 HP. Lucky to be alive. You can see him reposition now. Flashbang to go in. Don't think that was timed quite right. Maybe it was. Maybe that's the idea, just to bounce right in the opening of the door there.
Taz, white box. Trying to spawn out toward middle. Reitz will back away ever so slightly. Twist. Meanwhile, AWP on the T side. Good recovery from 2 rounds in a row now for Red Reserve, also avoiding the reset. That has put Roland to a CZ75. Henry? Have we seen 157 this event? I think we saw 1 yesterday.
Yes, it's definitely not. I think we mentioned yesterday. I talked about it, so we haven't seen it as much. It's slowly getting there. But it will take time. That's a conversation we had. As they walk in towards the A side, pretty much uncontested. You can see there's only 1 player on that side of the map. That's Taz. Why do they believe it's certainly going to be a B attack? But he finds the first kill. By them a lot of the time. The bomb's still not being planted. Allows his teammates to rotate in. Twist in the open. He had the bomb. Wasted a bit of time getting this plant down. 5 versus 3, still possible for Red Reserve here. He's going to take some fantastic shots on this man. Can't hit anything at all. That should be the round now. But Brolan, he's fighting back. He's doing what he can here. 4 on 2 now.
Gets 1, but Disco again behind quad is going to hold off. Look at the HP low enough that he can just mow them all down. In fact, it's going to be what was a 4-on-1 to Disco, destroying them all. And now 6 rounds.
That's wonderful.
That was perfect.
Yeah, very well played. That's a big round for them as well. That was a 4-on-2, definitely 4-on-1 even. His teammate died first. They were battered and bruised when they came in, but he didn't make a mistake. Very controlled, great positional play there from him. And that's going to spiral Kinguin into an eco. They're going to take a tactical pause just to calm down. Taz, known as what a fiery player. He is right there in the middle, the captain of the squad. Is he going to be happy with that? I'm sure I would be. They could have just waited and gone in together. Instead, they approached the old 1 by 1. You normally don't consider this would ever happen. You know exactly where he is. He's got an AK. Well, someone's going to kill him, but they really didn't give themselves the maximum percentage chance of winning that round. Gutting 1 to give up. Kinguin take the pause, and they do buy. A force. CZs, UMPs, and 1 AWP with no armor whatsoever. Maniz knows he got the pick towards boost before. This time focusing towards the mid-entrance. No initial kills or damage as the default begins Red Reserve here. They can win this round. That should be the half victory for them. Kinguin need Maniz to step up here.
Freddie B will certainly take the helm. Smoke goes out, minute and 17. That's not going to buy a whole lot of time, just a bit of information as they spray through. If anything favors Red Reserve, and then they're bleeding out the utility early enough. Something they don't have any more of. A couple flashes, that's it. So Twist in middle. Already securing 6 rounds. Red Reserve on path to a successful half. You're right about Maniz needing to step up, but it's Roland that wants to go first. Broland's going to get the shot into him. He's been pretty solid. The young talent that's come through. Been a lot of talk and chatter about him in certainly leagues like the FPL. Decent shot from Disco, though. Takes down Taz. That's the other pistol remaining. Maniz, he got to the truck, but no vision. Smoke down. Can't do anything of it already. He's got to save.
Yeah,
so Red Reserve find their 7th round, now 4 in a row.
It was a decent attempt. I could see what they were up to there. They were hoping that the mid control would be prevalent once again from the T's, but it was anything but really. Maniz will get one. He's looking to save the AWP. You can see that money's absolutely non-existent right now.
I think he did himself in. He ran to Z connector rather than all the way to here, and that's when he realized, wait a minute, they're on both sides of me. So yeah, that one kill was smart to get away.
Oof. Well, there we go. 4 on 2. Maniz and Mouse trying to hold on to the AWP. They'll do a good job so far. If they have the orb, there's always a chance the round can be salvaged going forward. Maniz the spot ready to be crossing over. Easy kill, really. It's cost him a lot of money now. He needs to be careful. Twist knows he can't sacrifice the orb, but goes with the wall bang instead. Connects that. He removes a UMP. That's not a huge deal. They still save the orb. Maniz will pick up some Kevlar to give him a bit more, I don't know, tenacity when he's going for these aggressive picks if required. Lost bonus at 4th stage for them now. Eagle for Reeds, the rest of them on CZs, and we'll see what Maniz is up to. Maybe he can work out how he can find the opener. It's deep secondary there. You can see that lined up. Spills over, so they can't boost at all. They have to completely cancel the boost the way you want to do it. Don't let them just sit there on a tower, waste a bit more time by throwing it like that. Rylan using that opportunity to boost himself up.
Freddy walks out and directly into it. Now they push over any reverse boost, but Hampus is ready. Mao's trying to find an alternate approach. AK picked up. Goes to the hut and back to the sandbags to cover off the same ground. He was not there before, but why should he be there now? Hampus doesn't care. He gets the kill either way. And we have a chance, although a diminishing return with each kill that goes against them, but a chance still that Kinguin with that AK in the hands of Taz can make a bit of a splash in this round. Taz rotates back in. He'll go to forklift. Maniz couldn't quite dodge the flash. Landed at his feet. Hard to look away. Straight up in order to avoid it. Full effect. Taz, here it is. The AK gets both Hampus as well, but they're already in the sight, and Broland swings in behind.
Decent effort. That wasn't a force buy. Remember, those some CZs and the saved AWP. They get 3 kills, but at this stage of the game, it might not matter too much as the money is relatively healthy for Red Reserve. We've got 2 rounds to go. Round 14 here. Double orb set up again. It's going to be Taz that drops over an AWP for Mouse. 3 orbs on the server right now. Twist will throw the smoke towards connector. Smoke towards highway deployed as well. Going for the quick boost. I'm not sure that Molotov was correctly thrown towards sandbags. It might allow Reeds and Taz to stay in position. Taz certainly can. Gets the first. Rylan backing him up. Much better now by the CT side. Red Reserve have certainly won the half, but maybe we can fight back and find the 8-7. Disco Doppler's got other ideas though. Finds the AWP. Now he can look towards the highway position. What an incredible shot that was. It all falls apart once again for Kinguin. They had the opening 2 kills there, but Disco Doppler steals the hopes and dreams away. 3 on 2. Kits available. A lovely boost. He saw the movement there, making sure it wasn't awkward. He had to jump up. He's straight away up in the air, ready to shoot. Great stuff by Twists, and that's the round stolen away. 2 kills for Kinguin to kick things off. Disco Doppler kills the orb up, finds another towards highway, boosts his teammate. Job done. Very, very well done by Disco especially. Not only did he open things up, he assisted with the boost. A selfless act will yield them yet another round. 9-5 now. They need to escape. A little bit awkward there with the door. Mouse once again will save an orb for Kinguin here, but it's going to be 9 rounds on the board for Red Reserve. They've got 6 rounds in a row. They had a spell of losing 5, but this seems to be a bit of a calling card for Red Reserve. There's back and forth gameplay. They'll win a lot, they'll lose a lot, then they'll finish things off with a few rounds. It's been an up and down day for them, certainly. Oh, it's worked.
Oh my god. I wasn't going to say anything. But yeah, okay, so people have now actually officially figured out the timing for that one. No one tweeted me yesterday to let me know the first time we saw that. I know it was before the body one even. It just never really became popular. That is the third or fourth time we've seen it this weekend alone. Freddie B takes down Reitz. What a start. You get it, the pick. Free kill. Almost Dust 2-esque in that regard. Not only do they have 9 rounds, they're 3 kills and 2 men up in finding their 10th in the first half. Not bad at all from Red Reserve.
Yeah, looking like the better team with more firepower right now. They've got great smokes.
You can win 100% of the rounds if you are the better team.
That's true. That's an actual fact.
Dan told me that. Maniz told Freddie his op is sufficient, but it's all under Roll in 1 versus 3.
And that's the problem. It's the final round. There'll be no saving this time. And he's got 3 very healthy players planting in the default spot. They've got checkers, the bomb site, and B storage covered. They've smoked him out. They've still got flashbangs and a Molotov. I don't think there's any chance of him winning this one. They get a spell of 5 rounds, but that's all they got. Rallen will give it his best go at this point, just padding stats really, just to look for 1 kill. I don't think he can do much more than that. Twist has got his number. Watching Heaven like a hawk. Double digits achieved. It will be Twist and Disco at the top, and that's very appropriate. They had some very, very good plays. So they won the pistol, lost 5 in a row. It was looking pretty bleak, but then they won everything else from that point. Good conversion, that 4-on-2. That really cemented the half for them.
There it is. I was wondering where it was. Yo, DJ, you're a little slow, bro. But I like it. I like it. We got some chill vibes.
It's better than the dubstep or the really aggressive rock we normally get.
The interesting thing about this whole ordeal is that Red Reserve will get another crack at NIP if they win this, because that's who it waits in the decider match. They came close before. Best of 3, certainly you got to favor Nip, but it could happen. I mean, still, Kinguin could pull this series back. I'm just pointing out all the facts.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's NIP that's still going to be annoyed they didn't get through to the playoffs, I'm sure, in the best of 1 sequences. Nonetheless, smoke down, they'll go toward the A site. Disco Doppelin trying to get shots out with the pistol. Hampus. SPS. Can't do anything about the bomb. It's planted. Hampus is on 1 HP as well as he gets tagged, but they still have the advantage. Take that back. Maniz gets Twist. Roland still fighting on from the slide, but Taz to watch, and to good effect, the flank. He'll take down Broland.
Well, well, well. Hoping pick for Red Reserve. They've got little to no chance of winning this now. Everyone's tagged up. And Kinguin will convert it. Big round for them. Taz knows it. He opened things up with the smoke at the very start. An interesting way to throw it. Instead of telegraphing the fact that you're doing it from the main entrance, it comes all the way over the skyboxes and lands in between the bomb site and forklift, obviously blocking vision from the truck and highway, allowing them to make their way through. They got on the bomb site, lost the first frag, but got the bomb down. Lots of dinks of those Glocks. They find themselves with the pistol. There is a pretty much force buy here from Red Reserve. Just 1 player in the form of Twist, not going all in. I would say this kind of lead is one of those rounds you definitely consider just getting Deagles, no armor. Not going to be the case though. Looking to convert this round if possible. 3 rifles for Kinguin. 2 UMPs to go with it.
Taz working around. Gets in behind the white box. That'll boost Roland. This is clever. Even smarter, though, because he realized they were heading in, and the boost still works because kill 1 to 100, Henry. Gets the other one walking in.
It's not bad at all. Rallen with both kills. Goes on the 24 HP, but that's perfect. That's all they wanted. Still a minute on the clock. Huge advantage here. Taking this group up as a 5-man unit. Basic execution, I mean that. Just a couple of smokes, a couple of flashbangs going together. Trade out the kills. Here's the first smoke. That will go in towards CT spawn. The flashbang will also follow. So like I said, basic execution coming in. Hit your shots. And that's going to be round. It's only Disco, Doppelin, and Twist left to save whatever they have. That's a CZ and armor. And 1 P250. With nothing else much to speak of. So I'll look for some exit kills here, but they're so far removed of the situation. Could be a while. 2-0 for Kinguin, presumably 3 with a full eco coming in next. Disco Doppelin might as well save the CZ armor. Use it in the next round. Same story for Twist and that P250. Not huge investments, but cheaper than having to buy it again next round.
So 10-6 is due to become 7. You're right. Cheaper than having to buy in the next round. Can we snap over to the Dolphin, please? Disco Dolphin. 100 armor as well, so we can actually upgrade that armor for a discounted rate.
How much?
If you come on down to Henry's Home Hardware.
Go on, tell me.
It's 350.
Yes.
350. Sorry?
I said he nailed it.
Yeah, I know.
But I doubt he
Fool
will.
me. 650 plus 350
Yep.
is 1,000.
I doubt he will, though. He's got to say these. Want to make sure he saves. He's up against AKs as well.
Yeah, that's something that more if you had it in the second round. If he still has that, then going into the gun round, absolutely.
Yes.
But you're right. There's no point investing anything right now.
No on his team. They're going to go for a B rush here. I don't think they'll stack. I actually think they'll actively just push in towards storage. We'll see. They're actually going for the stack. Sometimes can work out. Some teams are quite careless in these sort of rounds and just say, let's just rush B, get it over with. You run into the stack and it can all fall apart. But luckily for Kinguin, they're not doing that. They're just going to be holding up. So A's completely open. Obviously, Kinguin have no idea. Taz looking to get some intel here. Needs to get past the vent first. He's just aware of the prospect of a CT waiting in there. Nothing really invested into this round whatsoever. Slowly does it. Taz getting more and more intel. He knows he should have spotted someone by now, at least a footstep or a shoulder. He's confirmed the A side is open. A quick check of quad. That will be the round. A side's clear. And at this point, does Disco want to save that armor again? He'll save him $650 in the next round. Might as well. We'll see. And ultimately, they don't want to farm the players at Kinguin by letting them feed with the UMP. It's getting that extra money. Even $300 extra will be quite significant at this point as they run into their certain deaths. Twists will be battling here. Disco Doppler gets one. And that was one of the rotating players coming towards B storage.
Reeds holds off Hampus and stationary. Stands Disco and they walk around the corner. So now 8 rounds and 2 separate, but guns are drawn. Op available for Twist, given his economic decisions early on. Round loss bonus, as you can see at the bottom of the team, is at 2,400 in this round. That's what he would have been granted for his loss. And the timeout, I think, very much revolves around whether or not he buys the op right away.
Well, we'll see. Will he do it?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say he does it.
I would agree. CT side first round, he ecoed on the second.
Oh, you
not
bastard.
Go for it. Okay.
Everything I say, I'm wrong, Henry.
Should have let me do it.
Oh, sorry about that.
Well, I was going to opt for the utility, I guess, because of the force buy. They've realized they haven't even got a single incendiary